is INCRadio DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
You're listening to INC Radio.
Broadcasting live from Chicago, Illinois. DZEM 954 AM station. Here to bring you great conversations about faith, people, places, culture, and recent events all around the district. Join us on YouTube at INCradio.org. Hello, Northern Midwest and the rest of the world. It's time to get this show started.
Hello, everyone. It is time to get this show started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another broadcast of INCRadio Northern Midwest. Thank you for joining us, and we see everyone in our live chat already. Thank you for being with us so early and sharing with us your comments, your hashtags. But as a reminder, our new comment challenge starts today. So with this topic that we have set for all of you, make sure to leave your comments, your advice, your tips, any experiences that you share with our panelists that we have with us this afternoon, who are guests we've had already on the show before. Familiar faces. Let's say hi to Yelly and Justin, who are with us on the broadcast once again. Good afternoon.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Yes, and as you see down below, our topic for today is foreign yet familiar. So today we'll be talking about an experience that I was able to witness firsthand with Justin and Yelly in a time of, what we'll call it as culture shock. Because, allow me to speak on, I guess, your behalf, Justin, that you... this past winter for us was your first trip to the Philippines since birth. And so we're going to talk about that experience for you. So I guess we could start it off there. Justin, like before, the three of us or all of us went to the Philippines, what was your, I guess, expectation since, right, you haven't been there before. So what were you thinking of what you were going to experience on our trip?
Based off what my friends and family have told me before going there, just be on high alert wherever you are. Just pretty much, just be aware of your surroundings. And going to the Philippines, I came there prepared. Just excited, but also ready for anything that can happen. But I was just really excited to finally come back home. Finally spend time with family and just really embrace the culture there.
Nice. And I mean, for us, I don't do well with hot weather, but was humid weather one of the things you were anticipating maybe when you arrived?
Oh, yes. So the funny thing too is when we left Chicago, it was pretty cold. So then coming from Chicago to the Philippines, I put away my coats, I put away my hoodies, and put on had the short sleeves. So I was also prepared for that. I'm prepared for that really hot but nice weather.
Nice. So how about the things, or maybe one thing, let's talk about the biggest culture shock that you experienced when you got there.
The biggest culture shock to me was the driving. Going to the Philippines, as soon as we left that airport, our auntie and uncle picked us up, and first thing I saw 4 lanes, but I saw 6 different lanes of cars just cutting each other off and just driving at like 35 miles an hour. It's just I've heard a lot of people say controlled chaos, because even though here in the States we have our 3-4 lanes and everyone's in their lane. There in the Philippines, that's just a guide on where to go, but everyone has their own lane. But just knowing the drivers there, knowing, living in the Philippines, I felt safe. I felt safe knowing that, okay, I know who I'm riding with. I trust them with everything while they're driving, but the driving was very, very different there. And I just remembered my first 15 seconds, I'm holding on to the little handle there in the car. But other than that, get used to it over time.
Nice. And I'm sure, I think I saw a comment that we were talking about earlier in before the show started, an experience I think you were relating to from Joanna Crawfish. She mentioned for her that a culture shock was having to hold her purse and phone with her at all times. So, uh, did you were you told of that beforehand as well?
Yes, that was one of the main things people tell me. I mean, to me, it's also common sense wherever you go. You
Mhm.
always want to be on high alert with your belongings. I know that as soon as I was in the Philippines, I made sure I had a bag close to my chest, make sure that no one can get access to it. But yeah, just that was just one of the main things. But also a common thing wherever you go, you always want to make sure you have your belongings in your possession and safe wherever you go.
Um, when we went to the Philippines, right? I mean, maybe it was fortunate for you, Justin, that like me and my sister were there with you because we had gone to the Philippines before. I mean, granted, it was what, like 15 years ago or something like that. So it was kind of a new experience for us too. But for me, something that I wasn't quite or not yet quite adjusted to every time I go there is the food culture and the markets. So I know you had one of your brand new experiences at the markets there too. So could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. So, you know, living in America, we have our normal, like normal restaurants that we see. But when you're in the Philippines, there's just a lot of like stands there, just people
Hmm.
selling, like selling food. And I just remembered when Pampanga, um, we went to the night market. There's just stands. There's food everywhere, and just easy to access. But yeah, good food though. Very good food.
Okay. So in relation to that, Ivy Agsalud mentioned what she asked, what street foods did you try?
I mean, she's the more daring one. But I know I was still kind of aware of what I'm gonna eat. I didn't want to get sick, but I did eat like the barbecue there. Um, but I know that she tried one of the delicacies in the Philippines.
Yeah, I'm only laughing because there were a lot of options, and I just think of my dad. Shout out to my dad. My dad and I are always the ones that will just eat anything and everything. I think, and so I had bolot, which is the egg or the duck and the egg. But Justin didn't want to have any. He didn't want to try. He's had it before, but just not in the Philippines. And yeah, it's a little, it's definitely different because all these food options are just out there. And they cook it in front of you, but it's definitely not something we're used to seeing here in the U.S. But I was not afraid to try what I could while we were there.
So maybe that's something like my sister would or did easily adjust to because she's had it here many times. But maybe not so much for you, Justin. But was there something that you could easily adjust to, or how well did you adjust from, although we were there for, maybe a little over a week or so, how did you adjust to life there in the Philippines?
Well, the first day that we got there, my our auntie and uncle picked us up, and I feel like she already had it all planned out what we were gonna do. So the moment he picked us up, brought us home, first thing she had us do, she said, "You're gonna go to sleep, and then we're gonna wake you up for breakfast, and then after breakfast, you're gonna go back to sleep, and we'll wake you up for lunch. Then you're gonna go back to sleep, and you're gonna wake up for dinner." And for some reason, after that day, I felt like my clock was adjusted to where I wasn't affected, you know, during my time in the Philippines. But coming back to the States, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole different story. But in the Philippines, after that first day, we pretty much adjusted pretty
Yeah,
well.
I don't think it. I think it didn't take as long as we originally thought it would. We thought we would be jet lagged for a lot longer, but as Justin said, it was really just that first day. We landed, I think, at like 6:30 in the morning. But maybe because we did nap a majority of the day, the next day wasn't so bad, and we kind of were already adjusted and well rested to start the next day. So, yeah, it was a lot easier than we originally thought it would be.
It's good to hear. Like, yeah, I see already in our YouTube comments. Yeah, there's a lot who had mentioned jet lag as a way to adjust at least your body clock in terms of like what you're able to do, especially going right halfway across the world to another country. So, I'm just curious, Elson, did we have any other comments or any other reactions to what our panelists have said so far?
There's a lot of like funny comments there.
Let's see.
One from China Cal was earlier. She said that biggest culture shock for her. Everyone drives like a pro race. Which is true. I mean, not necessarily like a pro racer, but I feel like you have to be like assertive if we're gonna drive there in the Philippines. Like, like for me, I can't. I can never drive there.
No, me neither.
I'll never get anywhere. I'll be like, okay.
Me
I'll
neither.
never get anywhere if I drive. There's a lot of like funny comments. Some were talking about like the different street foods they were eating, and I think someone mentioned something about not drinking the tap water, which is true. If you want to drink like water, either get like the bottled ones or get like a water filter and filter it first before you drink it. Please do not drink the tap water if you're there. I know you do it here. We can do it here, but not necessarily there. But yes.
I'm looking at other comments that I'm seeing right now. Oh, yes. Speaking of water, how did you deal with colder than usual water when taking showers? Because I couldn't do it. It's like ice for me, at least. And that's what it felt like. So, was that easy for you to adjust to?
So to be honest, I had to prepare myself for that. For going to the Philippines. So every other day, you know, I turn the knob a little to the right to make it a little bit colder. And I mean, I feel like with the heat in the Philippines, it kind of balances it out. I mean, I wasn't taking long showers, you know. I was, you know, it's really still pretty cold water, but I feel like over time I was able to adjust a little bit to it. But yes, cold showers, not a thing, not a good thing.
So I just saw another comment in our YouTube live chat regarding not necessarily street food, but a very popular fast food chain that's popular in the Philippines and has some here. How do they compare?
It's better there.
Yes.
The sizes are different, but that's also at any restaurant. The size portions are different. They're a lot smaller in the Philippines, but I would say taste is better.
It's better. Um, even even beverages there. There's a lot of beverages in the Philippines that, you know, we don't have in the States. Even the fast food restaurants. You know, I always try to compare between here and the States, and I was just like, you know, Philippines has really good food there.
Nice. I'm just seeing there's a lot more comments about their experiences with culture shock as well. Not necessarily in the Philippines, but in other places, like Alex De Jesus, who mentioned when visiting Mexico, he said that some locals thought that he spoke Spanish, even though, right, we speak Filipino. Well, speaking of actually speaking Tagalog or Filipino, did you have to do that a lot? Just
No, fortunately, I had my wife and my brother-in-law to translate for me whenever someone speaks Tagalog to me. Um, it's too I'm too slow to type it on translate, but I made sure that I had Yeli here or even you, Abe, to kind of translate for me. But although I'm trying my best to understand, I get the gist. But sometimes if it's too much wording, I kind of get lost in those words. So that's when you two come in and help me out. Help me with the light.
so assuming that well, who knows if I'll be going back. Maybe I will. The next time we all go back together. I'm gonna say that. Well, first of all, um on the next trip to the Philippines, do you have a specific place you want to go back to? I mean, like you did mention earlier, like we were there in Pampanga as well as in the main areas like Quezon City, right? But if you were to go back there again, when you go back there again, what would be something you'd try to do that we didn't get to do?
Oh, that we didn't get to do because I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
or both. If you
yeah,
want to do something again, what would that be?
it's just when we got there, it was more for family. You know, of course, I wanted to visit the Philippines, but you always want to visit your relatives who live in the Philippines and spend as much time. Because who knows when the next time you'll come back to go back to the Philippines. But yeah, it's just to me, I'd go back visit my family members there, just spend a little bit more time, and just really kind of relaxing and just enjoying the weather and enjoying the company.
How about something or someplace you didn't get to do?
Um, well, we went to Coron while
Hmm.
we were there. I think we would like to go to either like El Nido or Baguio because I know Macri and I have gone there already, but just like some of those places that we hear about that are big touristy places in the Philippines that maybe we could do more tour guides in, like we did in Coron. So yeah, something like that. Mhm.
There's so much to explore there, right? Historical sites, beaches, even the city itself. But in relation to the topic title, foreign yet familiar. So there is, which I've also seen in our comments, that there have been from Brother Juni Aladdin. He also mentioned in our live chat that um, there is as members of the Church of Christ, you do see a lot more brethren there, and the atmosphere there upon our visit was very welcoming. So, which is very common here, right? Wherever you go, it's such a familiar, friendly, familial. Yeah, see, familiar, familial. Two different words, but I know they sound almost the same. But you do get that feeling wherever you go. So that hospitality was really nice to experience, which I'm sure you two have also experienced too. Like I recall the time when you were, or when we were calling a jeep or a tricycle over. So and to me at least, one of the cool experiences was like they knew where to take like brethren, or where to take people for us members of the church, right, to attend the worship service. The tricycle drivers there like were so accommodating, and they were able to take us there. So how was that familiar feeling for you guys?
That was very again, it just makes it so much easier to travel and
Hmm.
um, that like that story you just mentioned. I was thinking of that story too, and I can't recall if he was a brother as well, but I believe he was because he was um, giving us the worship service times at the chapel that was only a few minutes from our hotel where we were intending to worship. And so as soon as we called the taxi or the tricycle to bring us there, he just already knew it was an English service. So he said that, at least we'll be able to understand. And he knew that, we would get there on time, we'd be able to attend. And so I think even on the way, the sun was setting. We even like stopped to the side just so we could take pictures from the side of the street of the sunset, which was nice. But it's just already just that one encounter with that brother was very welcoming, and he was just very nice. And it just, I mean, you find that everywhere, I feel, with brothers and sisters around the world. And so it just makes it so much easier. After the Philippines, we went to Japan, and we felt that familiar, feeling of being so close to brothers and sisters who we maybe have never met before, but we all have that same, faith, and that shows because of the hospitality that we get when we visit these places.
Yeah, I love that. It was the same experience for me when I went to Seoul in Korea when before you guys went to the Philippines, and I met you guys there. So yeah, it's a great feeling to have to share. Just a couple more comments that I saw, which we were able to visit. Several from Chesterton, Luigi Laksamana, Noel de Rosario mentioned the museum, which we were able to go to. Glad to say. It was a cool experience learning about the history of the church, and you were able to visit the Central Temple too. I arrived later that day, so I wasn't able to attend that time, but I have been before. For those in our YouTube live chat who were asking, but yeah, it was a lot of fun to see. So I guess it's time to plan the next time we go,
Yes.
right? And we're
Yeah.
gonna take Elsum along.
They're also coming with us, right?
Oh, definitely.
Cool. Was there anything, or for maybe those who haven't really, gone to another country? I mean, I talked about this before, like in a previous broadcast, but for you, um, do you have any tips for someone who may be intimidated to travel to a new place?
I would, I've actually had a few people ask us, as soon as we came back, what our experiences were like, and do we recommend. And I'll say the same thing. Don't feel intimidated, because actually a lot of these countries, at least where we went to the Philippines and Japan, a lot of them are super accommodating. You do see a lot of signs in English. You don't have to feel scared that there would be some sort of language barrier. Um, it is a lot easier to get around. I think that was another question we got. It's like, how did you drive, and how did you go from one place to another? There's so many options with public transportation, or even ride sharing services that are a lot cheaper too. So there's just many ways to get around, and you'll find your way. I don't think we ever got lost, really, even in Japan. Again, everything, or not everything, but most things are in English. And even if you are lost, there is someone around who will help you as long as you ask. And everyone, at least that we've encountered, have been really nice. So I would just say, like, don't feel scared. Just know that there's probably other tourists there too, the same time that you're there. So you'll easily get around, I would say.
And technology is so much more advanced now. So you have your smartphone, as long as you have data, you have a GPS on you, you have a translator on you, everything you have, it's easily researchable. So, I mean, doesn't mean that you shouldn't plan ahead. Of course, plan ahead before you do make your trips. Make sure that you know where you're going to go, what you're going to do, but just know once you're in that other country, just make sure that, you have your phone, you have data, you have a map, you have a translator. So those are the kind of things that you want to be prepared to have, and just ready to go once you get to that other country.
Nice. Thank you guys for sharing your tips and experiences with I guess now looking back, not much of a culture shock per se, but just a new experience to what you were able to do on vacation. And I guess an additional tip that I have, which helps in learning or going to a new country, is learning their language. So, right, if learning to speak Tagalog, maybe Justin on the next trip you'll speak Tagalog for all of us, or a different language altogether, or even sign language. So let's for today's CSD segment, this is your sign. Let's learn in sign language how to introduce yourself.
Sister Sophia, and I'm the Secretary for the Christian Society for the Deaf in the District of Great Lakes. And for today's Sign of the Week, I'm going to teach you how to sign a phrase that you can use when introducing yourself to other people. The phrase that we'll be using today is I'm American. Now, to start off, all you have to do to sign the word I or I'm, all you have to do is just point at yourself. And now to sign the word American, all you have to do is with all of your fingers, you're going to interlock them just like this. Hold both of your hands right in front of you, and then you're going to make a circular motion. After that, all you have to do with both of your hands together just like this, have the palms facing each other and bring both of them down. So we're going to do that again. American. Now we're going to put that together. It's basically I'm American. Thank you for joining us in today's Sign of the Week, and we hope to see you more in future activities.
This is your sign.
Yes, thank you to our Christian Society for the Deaf for teaching us how to introduce ourselves, right? Especially if you're coming from here, going to the Philippines or in any other country, you know how to introduce yourself in sign language. And yes, we also take a look at our activities that we've had for the weekend. We had a lot of activities, and we also have a lot of upcoming activities. So let's take a look at it. Let's see. As for our recent activities, I saw a lot from Chesterton. So let's start off with their taco making. Oh, I really like tacos.
Those look good.
Like, those look really good. Those look like really, really delicious.
Shout out to Chesterton.
Even if you don't like the shell, you can probably eat it like that. Like on a plate with all the fixings. And they also had their tie-dye activity.
That's so creative.
Yeah. Like teaching kids how to do it as well. And they were able to tie-dye their own like shirts. Good sides. Then they also had their coastal cleanup. And I'm not mistaken, this is in Indiana. June's, right? Where they had their cleanup for coastal cleanup.
Very windy.
Yeah, you can see the bags like flying away. And in Indianapolis, they had their animal appreciation activity. They went to a zoo. Yeah, that is a zoo to appreciate nature, of course. And in Lake County, they had their maple syrup tour. Good right now, maple syrup, especially with pancakes. And as for our upcoming activities, we have our Tagisa ng Talino in March and April, and this finals will be in June. And for the individual schedules, there is on screen. I won't have to read all of them, but just look for them on the screen. And we also have our district-wide coastal cleanup in Indiana Dunes National Park. That will be on April 26th, so look forward to that activity as well. And following that, on April 27th, is our powerlifting and sports clinic activity. That will be in Callus Strength Gym. If I'm not mistaken, that's a gym. And also other activities, Chesterton Arts activity and a board game Scrabble activity. Ice cream making for Chicago and Chicago North has a bowling masters activity. Yes. And lastly, I know you're all looking forward to this, and this is probably the last time we're doing this. No, because next week it's gonna be a little bit different. So let's find out for our last hashtag challenge.
The last hashtag challenge.
Yeah, let's find out who won our last hashtag challenge.
There you go. We have to do it for the end, for the last one.
Yes. Those honorable mentions first to the locales with most continued growth in the chat participation: Louisville, Milwaukee, and Chicago. And in fifth place, actually, is the local congregation of Milwaukee, with Sister Diana Del Rosario from Chester, winning fifth place. And in fourth place is Louisville, Kentucky, and Sir Rachel Lynn Weiser, winning the individual fourth place. In third place is Chicago, Illinois, with Brother Ken Nagawa, winning the individual third place. In second place is Chesterton, Indiana, with Bella Romero winning the individual second place. And in first place is Bloomingdale, Illinois, and Brother Noel Del Rosario from Chesterton wins the individual first place. So congratulations to everyone who's not everyone who just participated in this, but also, or like, not just the winners, I should say, not just the winners, but everyone who participated in our hashtag challenge, not just this one, but also in the past hashtag challenge that we've had. And I know, we have something new coming up for you next week that I'm sure you will enjoy as well. But that is all the time we have for our show. So before we head up, we do want to greet, the local congregations of Louisville and Indianapolis, because they will be celebrating their anniversaries. For Louisville, April 18th is their anniversary, and they'll be celebrating 14 years. And for Indianapolis, April 21, they'll be celebrating 19 years. Very close to your, I know, very close to milestone anniversaries. And of course, we can't end our show without saying a special thanks to the people who make our show possible. First off, to our district ministers here in Great Lakes, Brother Arthur P. Agag, our Assistant District Minister, and Brother Elmer A. Sarmiento, our District Minister. And of course, a very special thanks to Brother Wally Taray, our INC Radio Station Manager, to Brother Angelo Eranio V. Manalo, our CEBSI President and CFO Coordinator, and Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our Executive Minister. We'll see you again next week. Stay phenomenal, be phenomenal, and have a great weekend. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.